Louis and Rosewood and Seneca Village in New York City, Oscarville, Georgia. So I started looking into other Black towns and seeing that, oh, okay, very similar stories. So how did they hide it? And I just ended up finding that they're all pretty much hidden the same way. The elders are basically threatened into being quiet, and then over the years, that because they feel like they're passing trauma verbally, to their descendants, a lot of them wouldn't do it, and so you have to let those elders know that the stories they're giving you are not, you're not asking them to bring you down. You're asking them so that you can use the blueprint of what they remember in order to build on top of it. So as I mentioned, my brother Marlon Hall said, it's Tulsa is not a graveyard, it's a garden. And so if you can convince your elders that you're working in a garden, and you do need that history, is at minimum it's compost to be able to grow what you need to grow.
So let me ask you this, Cody. So with Black Wall Street and what we know happened in Greenwood, how far has the state of Oklahoma gone in terms of compensating that community and the descendants and those who lost everything at that time? What have they done, and what do people want them to do?
The original, I guess, the first thing they tried was giving us a park, which, like I said, it's a template.
Yeah.
It's
No.
actually a reconciliation park. So without reconciliation, we got a park named Reconciliation. But to be honest, since you've been in the Greenwood district, you put more money into the descendants and the rebuilding of Greenwood than the city of Tulsa or the state of Oklahoma. They constantly deny these people reparation. I'm a person who, knowing that people are still here from that time period, Tulsa wants to wipe his hands clean of it. Again, we get museums, we get an acknowledgement. It's almost like paying us in cachet. It's like, well, you get recognition. It's like, well, no one's ever bought a piece of property with that. So we don't get the land back. We don't get any of that. So it didn't matter what we asked for. There's been times where people have asked for money. There's times where people ask for land, even asking for it to be put in the educational system the right way. Even that's pulling teeth. And so, but Oklahoma also understands that it is a microcosm of the U.S. in general. Oklahoma operates very similar to the way the U.S. does. A lot of those stereotypes that people in the chat have seen before, you're from the wrong side of the tracks. Well, there's a set of railroad tracks that divides Greenwood from White Tulsa back then. We still have that exact same railroad track here. Or you're from the other side of the highway. The highway put there during urban renewal tore up Greenwood, and the largest collection of Black people in Tulsa, Oklahoma, live north of that highway. So it divides North Tulsans and descendants of Greenwood from all of the resources. And so it's a lot of these people here were our descendants. Our mayor now, he's a descendant of slave owners, and his wealth was built off of that. And so he won't say anything when it comes to reparation for Greenwood, because I mean, that opens the door for quite a few families to then say, well, you obviously believe in reparation. So his entire wealth was built off of that. And so a lot of times they just won't say anything versus saying no or yes. So Oklahoma, I don't believe Oklahoma will ever do anything until it affects their dollar, to be honest. And as a whole, I think that all of the different, I've seen people in the chat that are from areas that I know had Black Wall Streets or versions of Black Wall Streets. And so we can't just talk about Greenwood. We got to talk about all of them, and we have to do it at the same time, because if it's split up, it looks like, oh, there was a one-off event.